and I was playing a lot of video game and at the time, and I wanted to always make the video game better. Because I was like, I wish we had that, and I wish we could do that. And I think it's how I actually got started with, I want to be in computer science.
That is Gigi Zanolli, developer advocate and project manager over at Tableau. I'm Josh Birk, a developer evangelist for Salesforce, and here on the Salesforce Developer Podcast, you'll hear stories and insights from developers for developers. Today, we sit down and talk with Gigi about developing on Tableau, and we will start with her early days there.
So I joined the pre-sales team, I think 4 or 5 years ago, based in London. So covering all Europe and Middle East Africa. And I was one of the only one in my team that actually had a background in computer science. So really quickly, I got more and more involved in APIs and getting to know the developer community and work with our developer tools on a day-to-day basis. And then as I got into the Tableau developer world. And moved to Seattle a year ago, more than a year now. I think I'm losing notion of time.
Okay.
To join the dev team and be my only focus is the DataDevs and the Tableau developers using our APIs and platforms.
And as a fellow evangelist, I find it always good to level set this kind of job. How would you describe your current job?
It's hard. It's just, it's like, one day doesn't look like the other.
Right.
And yesterday doesn't look like today. Right. I think it's just helping developers to be successful with our APIs and platform. Be sure that they have all they need, tools, mentors, to be successful and build their own integration.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's talk Tableau, the company itself. How would you describe the mission statement for Tableau?
I mean, I think since the beginning, we always have the same missions, is we help people see and understand the data. And when I was in pre-sales, I was joking and saying, people is anyone from your grandmother to an actual business analyst. And I think it's really true that anyone that has or have a questions on the data, a business question, can answer their own question using Tableau. It's an easy tool to get hands-on.
And Tableau talks about their data devs, but who meets the description of a data dev?
That's an interesting question. So it's a very, very broad audience. We have people that are just starting with APIs and developers, but they are interested. They want to push the limits of Tableau. And we have the developers that Sam has a computer science background, and that wants to be involved in the developer platform. But I would say that anyone that is using the Tableau APIs or developer tools is a data dev.
Gotcha. What kind of skill sets required to get into data dev? I
mean, the first is just being interested in learning. I think that's the first step is, are you interested in learning? Are you going to learn about APIs or learn the basics of JavaScript? That's the main skill set we require for you to join the developer We hope when you join the developer platform, the data dev family community is the first step is like, do you want to learn? If yes, we give you the tools and the opportunity to learn.
Nice. And do I have to know any specific programming languages, or is it pretty open?
I mean, we recommend JavaScript, and we use also Python a lot, but it's really open.
Gotcha.
We have APIs you can use C++ if you want to.
Got it. I guess I hadn't really considered that. Python's pretty big in the data visualization world, right?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. So let's talk some specifics, like what kind of APIs does Tableau offer?
So are you ready for half an hour talk?
Maybe 15 minutes would if we could, maybe scale it down a little bit.
I will try.
Okay.
So we have a lot of different APIs, and I like to talk about our APIs by use cases.
Okay.
So we have automation and integration when you want to automate tasks or integrate with third-party tools. We have a REST API, for example, for all the management of your Tableau server or your Tableau online environment. or webhooks as well. That's one of the newest one. Then we talk about extensibility. When you want to extend the capability of Tableau, you want to do more with Tableau, like do a video game. Then, yeah, that's
okay. We'll pin on that and go and come back to that in a second.
Then you have embedding. So we have Tableau, but some users have actually another tool, another application that's the main application, but they want to embed and have the power of Tableau inside the application. So we have a bunch of APIs to embed Tableau. And then we have connectivity, of course. If you want to connect to data sources in the data source or API, but you don't find the connector in your list of native connectors, even if Tableau supports more than 80 native connectors,
nice.
You can actually use our APIs to connect to your own data.
Nice.
And the last but not least, I hope like one of them, like if you forget one, like it's going to be like the upset person in the family. Like, oh, you forgot about me. That is advanced analytics. In Tableau, you can build some calculate fields to do average, sums, and you can also do forecasting. But some users want to do even more with these calculate fields. And they want to run their Python script if they want to analyze the sentiment analysis of their tweets, for example. So that's also another category of our APIs. So if you want to integrate with R, Python, or other languages.
Got it. And I have to really appreciate that. I can actually remember the first World Tour presentation I was doing on R APIs, and I had to turn around to the slide and ask myself that same question. Like, did I forget one?
It's always like an anxious moment where you're like, oh, okay.
It is. It's an interesting similarity because we also have a lot of APIs that are, pretty much defined by, specific use cases and trying to help our customers and developers out. Let's go back to, because that was an interesting use case that you kind of mentioned there. You said something about a video game running off of Tableau.
Yes. So I think it's one of our developers that emailed us one day and sent us, he's like, look, I built Mario in Tableau. And I was like, okay. And you see a screenshot and your first thought is, like, did you do a screenshot and like Photoshop it? Like, because it was so amazing. Like, and we never thought about something like that. And someone would use our API that way. So, and then he sent us the actual workbook he built an extension, and it was actually, you could play Mario inside of your dashboard. And I was like, that's so clever. That's just awesome. And I think it's just an example of how much you can push Tableau.
Right.
Expand it. So that was awesome. And you could play, and I was making a joke with a coworker. I say, I'm working on Tableau, but you don't know what I'm doing. I'm maybe playing Mario.
And what was it using Tableau for, like as a data source?
So I think the data source was the points mostly that you was updating every time you were getting a coins. I think it was the game. Yeah, a coins.
Got it. Yeah.
And I don't remember the data source after that. I think it was also some hack to make it work, and because the interface of the game was Tableau.
Well, see, that's also really interesting, I think, because I think a lot of people think in terms of data visualization as, the charts and the graphs, or maybe it's a super pretty graph that's like kind of trying to illustrate something in some way. But that's clearly highlighting a very high level of interactivity that you can do.
Yes.
Okay, and so talking about some solutions that customers are actually putting out there, are there any kind of cool examples out there of things that people have built?
Yes, so we have a lot of different tools and application that has been built on top of our applications. One came in mind is all the third-party tools. So, for example, you are in Tableau and you have to jump from Tableau to another tool. So then they bring the tool inside Tableau by using our extension API, for example. So you just stay in Tableau to, for example, update your application or update a record inside your data source. So to write back. So you can take actions directly inside your dashboards. Another one I can think of is partners that are using our APIs to bring the tools And for example, machine learning partners that are using their own algorithm, bringing the algorithm and the technology inside Tableau as well.
Got it. And then talk to me about how, like, if I think there's some interesting overlap, and it's like, first of all, if I'm a developer and I'm listening to this, there's a low barrier of entry when it comes to the development side, because I basically just need to be able to interface with your APIs. What kind of development environment, if I was wanting to start tinkering out with that, does Tableau offer?
So Tableau offers, we have what we call the Tableau Developer Program. It's a free program that anyone can join. And as part of this program, you can get a free dev site. This dev site, you can use it to learn and try new APIs and also new APIs because it's the last pre-release version of Tableau. Mm-hmm. So it's also a way to keep yourself updated to the new APIs as well.
Yeah. And what kind of, because obviously when we're talking about data visualizations and charts and things like that, the data side of things is really important. Is there like sample data that I can kind of just grab off the developer site and work with?
Yes. We are using Superstore. So anyone that's listening that already seen a Tableau demo might be already familiar with Superstore. Is what we use for most of our demo.
Got it.
So it's just a supermarket, a store that is selling different categories of product and subcategories.
Nice.
So it's already there for users to use.
Got it. So before, I do want to talk a little bit about integration and Salesforce and all this kind of stuff, but there's one person I want to make sure, or one dinosaur I feel like I want to make sure we give a shout out to. Introduce Flex the T-Rex to everybody.
So you cannot be part of a developer program and didn't know about T-Rex. Flex, basically, is his name. Uh-huh. So when we came up with one of our APIs called Extension API, we had to create a new file format. Mm-hmm. And we decided to go for T for Tableau, EX for extension, and we made it T-Rex. And then we had to name the T-Rex, of course.
Right.
And his name is Flex because we are the developer platform and we are flexible.
Nice.
And every year, Flex has a new yoga position. So I'm not really good about yoga, but I think the one is like reverse triangle is the one of 2020.
Got it. Nice. As a culture that has embraced mascots very well, I think that's awesome. And I think you have other, like Tableau likes to be playful with their file formats in general, right?
Well, yeah, we do. And it's why I like working this team with so many creative way.
Yeah.
So we launched, I think it was last year, a new API called Connector SDK. And the format of, once you use the Connector SDK, the file format is a taco file.
Okay.
So TA for Tableau, CO for connectivity. And so it's every day Taco Tuesday at Tableau.
Every day is Taco Tuesday at Tableau. I like it. Okay. So at Trailhead DX, we announced a Lightning Web Component that's going to allow Tableau to be embedded in Salesforce. Can you tell me a little bit of a history of that component?
Sure. So we already have different ways to embed Tableau inside Salesforce. Could use Visual Force pages in Apex code, or we also have Canvas. Mm-hmm. But a lot of customers ask for the Lightning Web Component, so us to have a Lightning Web Component as Tableau. Mm-hmm. And it was something that was already in our mind, but with the acquisition of Tableau by Salesforce, that's something that came up more, especially when we were at Dreamforce last year. So
Gotcha.
Talking to customers, they were seeing a demo and it's like, how can I get this Lightning Web Component? How can I get it as a Lightning Web Component? Mm-hmm. And so that's where everything started. At Dreamforce, we started the development of a Lightning Web Component. Its name is Tableau Viz Lightning Web Component. And it's an easier way to embed Tableau inside Salesforce.
Got it. And what kind of API is that leveraging on your side?
So we are using the JavaScript API, the API we use when we embed visualization inside an application.
Got it. Any kind of limitations with the component?
So you need Lightning. So I know some users are still updating, so that's one of the requirements. And then
that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we had the conversation. So
right.
You need Lightning, and right now it's in beta. So you just have to wait until end of September, October before installing the Lightning Web Component in your production environment. But we are planning to have it on App Exchange as soon as it's ready.
Got it. And it's available in App Builder right now if you're not in production. Is that correct? Or is it like a managed package that I have to install?
It's a beta managed package. So you can install it in like Sandbox, I think, and ScratchOrgs.
Got it. And like, okay, so personally, I know I like some JavaScript. I know some APIs. And I've done some data visualization in the past, but what kind of like, and so I can get access to a free developer edition or for developer environment, get access to some data, but what kind of sample code is out there to kind of help me get started?
So if you don't want to get hands-on and get your hands dirty in code, you can just go to App Exchange, but we made the decision to open source the Lightning Web Component to our developers. So it's going to be, I mean, it's already available in beta on GitHub. So if you check the Tableau GitHub, you can find the project already, the repo. The next step is we have a lot of customers asking for new functionalities, and it's not everyone is the same. They have different functionality depending on their environments. We had a customer asking about localized dashboards, for example. And they wanted to see if a dashboard, if a Salesforce user had his local in French, could go in Salesforce and have a dashboard in French. So switching the dashboard URL.
Yeah.
And that's something we cannot do in our core Lightning Web Component. So we are thinking about releasing it with some sample codes where you can actually wrap the Lightning Web Component in our core Lightning Web Component inside your Lightning Web Component to personalize it and customize it to fit your own needs.
Gotcha. And are there examples out there of just building visualizations themselves?
So we have a lot of e-learning. Tableau has its own e-learning where you have a lot of videos and tutorials on how to get started with Tableau and building visualization.
Nice. Well, and of course, talking about e-learning, what about Trailhead?
So it's coming. It's coming. It's fresh from the press.
Nice.
So we are working to have a Trailhead. I think it's module. That's the right term. We are working to have a module for the Tableau Viz LWC. Nice. So we are working with a team, and hopefully this year or early next year, we are going to have a module for Tableau Viz LWC. But Tableau already has its own trail as well. So if you just want to familiarize yourself with Tableau, we already have a trail under Tableau.
And that's our show. Now, be sure we will be linking back to Trailhead in the show notes so that you can catch up on that learning. Now, before we go, did ask Gigi about her favorite non-technical hobby, and it turns out she's going back to her roots.
I think it's really quarantine-focused 2020 is playing Animal Crossing. I've been addicted to Animal Crossing since the beginning of the quarantine. So if anyone wants to sell turnips or have a good price for turnips, send me a message, please.
I like it. Evangelizing for the community, not just in the real world, but on a game island as well.
We actually made I made the T-Rex t-shirts in the game. So nice. We have a custom design with Flex.
Thank Gigi for the great conversation. And of course, my thanks to you for listening. If you'd like to learn more about this podcast, head on over to developer.salesforce.com/podcast, where you can see the show notes, hear old episodes, and have links to your favorite podcast service. I'll talk to you next week.